Okay. Hello everybody, this is Dragon Fender from Team Breakthrough Skill, coming at you with another deck profile, Cardfight Vanguard. This time, it's an Oracle, as you can probably tell by the sleeve here, it's an Oracle Think Tank deck. And it is Soulless Psych. It's actually Goddess Amaterasu. So of course, without further ado, let's get into this profile. For starter is Little Witch Lulu, arguably the best starter Oracles have right now. When you ride on top of it, move it to an empty rearguard. At grade 3, which is a little different than normal retreating rearguards. She only retreats when you hit grade 3. And then you Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. Good card. Not much to say otherwise. I'm going to start from grade 3 down here. First, we run 3 Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu Crossride. It's an 11k limit break. Unit attack hits a Vanguard, you can pay the cost, which is Counter Blast 2. If you do, you search your deck for up to 1 Oracle Think Tank, reveal to your opponent, and add it to your hand. And then shuffle your deck, so you can get any card from the deck, add it to your hand. It's a good effect. The downside is obviously you have to hit the Vanguard at limit break. It puts pressure if your opponent doesn't want you to take cards, but honestly just don't rely on it to sort of net you anything in a desperate situation. Then our next grade 3 is, of course, 4 copies of CEO Amaterasu. The main Vanguard. This is the one you want to ride first, if at all possible, because it's just a superior Vanguard compared to Goddess. She has a better defense if you cross ride, but that's about it. You usually want to milk this as long as possible. First effect is continuous at any time during your turn. When your hand is 4 cards or more, she gets an extra 4k, which is pretty good because in Oracle Think Tank it's pretty easy to have at least 4, let alone any deck if you've been playing well. Because even if you have only 2 cards in your hand at the beginning of your attack, the Twin Drive will let you 2 more, which will give you 4 and fulfill that condition. Then the second ability, of course, is Auto Vanguard. At the beginning of your circle, at the beginning of your main phase, it's mandatory to Soul Charge 1 and look at the top card of your deck. And then you put that card on top or bottom of your deck. You do not have to show your opponent. This is the reason why she's amazing above like any of her other effects, because that divination allows you to stack triggers, play mind game, do whatever, like more or less. And when the Oracles get more support for the English meta in April, that's definitely going to be something to look towards. And then, of course, her last effect is a Mega Blast. Don't ever count on using it. I mean, like, it's not the terrible Mega Blast, but then again, it's a Mega Blast. Where on either circle, you Soul Blast 8, Counter Blast 5. And when she hits anything, you can pay the cost to draw up to 5 cards. Like, it's an okay effect, but like I said, if you happen to hit it, if you happen to make it go off, great. If you don't go out of your way. I mean, she's amazing because of her other effects, not because of that. Right, moving on. Grade 2. You run 4 Battle Deity Susano. He's a 9k base rear guard ability. He's your generic 12k attacker on your turn when you have an Amaterasu as your vanguard, so the cross ride or the regular. It does not matter. Then we run 3 Battle Sister Tart, which is our generic 10k vanilla. I just like this artwork, like, so much better than the creepy statue with the homo stare. Like, it's a weird joke that floats around the team. Like, and if you look at it, you just see it's creepy as hell. Like no thank you. Anyway, next is 3 copies of Maiden Libra. Puts a nice little bit of pressure on the rear guard circle, sometimes Vanguard level 2, but don't expect it to go off. But if it hits, you get to draw a card. I mean, Counter Blast 2, draw a card when it hits anything. Some people, not all, but they will, because people, I'm not going to say they're bad at this game, so that's why I'm going to assume they'll block it accordingly. But just getting a rear guard to be blocked, whether it's important or not to your game plan, is a card out of their hand. If they decide not to block it, it's a card into your hand, so decent card. And next, yes, you see correctly, it's 2, only 2 Silent Tom. Yes, I have more for the deck, but in this build, more than 2 was more of a space issue, if anything. Could have took something like Libra or Tard out, or even a Susano, but Tom's skill becoming somewhat less important. He's amazing, so that's why he's still in there. But at an 8k body at level 2, you mainly want to use this to try to finish up games. If he dies, don't worry about it. But the more pressure he does, the better. Anyway, he's continuous on either circle. When he attacks, your opponent cannot guard with grade 0s. Like I said, great effect. But for him to really put any real pressure in, you gotta have like the AK vanilla behind him. Not that hard to do, just situational enough that more than 2 seemed like it was not necessary through playtesting. Anyway, but of course, any suggestions, any questions, leave them down in the comments below. No, gladly answer, or take into consideration depending on what happens. what your comment may be. Just please try to keep it clean. We're not here for like the childness. Chololol. Anyway, moving on to grade 1s, we got 4 perfect guards. Stable, obviously. 4 Battle Maiden Sayori. This is the generic 10k attacker if Amaterasu is your vanguard. The downside, like, it's good, but the downside is that you can't really, like, early game rush with this. Like the more generic grade 1s. But it's better, like, say, later game when your opponent keeps blowing up your grade 2s. Well, I can push this up front. And it's a 10k, and then with at least 6k boost, she becomes a good enough row to actually do something. Without a boost, you can still usually take out a rear guard for pressure. And then next is for 8k vanilla on Oracle Guardian Gemini. And then lastly, 2 white hair of Inaba. White hair Inaba is when it's placed on Vanguard or Rear Guard. You can choose up to 1 Oracle Think Tank from your hand and put it in the soul. This is good for when those times you're forced to ride Goddess of the Sun first. In that case, that's kind of your bad ride. But if you happen to have him and you get the regular CEO in your hand, you got 2 options available to you. Obviously, you can ride CEO and start doing that, or depending on the situation, just play Inaba and shove CEO into the soul, giving yourself your 13k body, which would make defending a lot easier. And like I said, it all depends on the situation. This is how oracles work. Read the situation, act accordingly. So that's the level 1s. Then moving on to triggers, which is very obvious what it should be. For critical, oops, come here. For crit with the Psychic Bird, best crit for the clan, you can put in the soul to draw a card. For more crit, and then 4 draw, and 4 heal. And use Lawson's Mag. This heal is more of a personal choice than anything. Because outside of Battle Sisters, I feel Lawson's Mag is better. Because if you need to, you can drop it as a 6k boost, and then it goes back into the deck at the end. So, thus giving you also that chance of healing. Don't always call it to the field. It is a 10k shield, and it's most likely better used that way. But this trigger set seems to be working well. I mean, you can take out 2 of your generic crits for 2 more draw, if that feels better for you, but I would not recommend 12 crit. I have tried it, and even though you do get all those 10k shields and the critical ratio being higher is nice, the fact that Goddess of the Sun has a very low chance of hitting your opponent, getting to get her effect off, and same thing with your other draw one, but you kind of want draw triggers to compensate for the fact that your opponent most likely will be guarding your little draw engine there. Anyway, that is the Goddess of the Sun build. There's not much else to say about it. For those who love Amaterasu, it's definitely a nice deck. Wouldn't say it's broken, not by any means. Wouldn't say it's terrible either. It's one of those decks that, if you like Oracle Think Tank and you like Amaterasu, give it a try. It's definitely a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and I will be seeing you all again next time. Bye.